years ago, on my original timeline, I saw a documentary on TV about John Wilkes Booth and the assassination of President Abraham Lincoln. I'm a researcher, so whenever I watch something that is based on fact, I always research it. What I learned is that two men sought by the authorities were holed up in a barn. One was believed to be John Wilkes Booth. The men who were after him burned down the barn. Both men perished in the fire, and it was announced that John Wilkes Booth was one of them. However, due to the charred remains of the bodies, a positive ID was never made. Henceforth, there were conspiracy theories that Booth had made an escape. A few years later, I watched another TV program. I don't remember what it was called, but a segment was about a woman who owned a large historical home that had been in her family for generations. She said, according to her ancestors, the story carried down that Booth escaped and held up in a secret bedroom upstairs in her home. She took the interviewer into the secret bedroom. She said, according to her family, Booth sought refuge in her home, and lived secretly in that bedroom for many years until his death. Given that information in the first documentary that I watched, which supposed that Booth escaped and was misidentified in the fire in the barn, the conspiracy theory seemed plausible. A couple of days ago, while watching the series on Apple TV called Manhunt, it portrayed a true account of what happened to John Wilkes Booth on this timeline. After watching it, I researched on the internet, confirming that the information in the series was accurate. For me, history has changed. On this timeline, while in the barn, Booth was shot and physically paralyzed due to the bullet wound. Afterwards, he was carried out of the barn and died about 3 hours later. Sometime later, his accomplice was tried and hung for aiding the fugitive. Since John Wilkes Booth was positively identified, this makes the previous conspiracy theory that I had learned about years ago totally obsolete. This is another Mandela effect. If you remember this historical event as I do, please leave a comment about it. These changes in this historical event remind me of the Lindbergh baby kidnapping, where on my original timeline, the baby's body was never found, and the kidnapper was never identified or caught. However, on this world line, the baby's body was found, and the kidnapper was arrested, prosecuted, and executed. Do you want to know about the Mandela effect? Maybe it's happening to you, and you're having a hard time dealing with it. Does it make your head spin? Or does someone you know say they are experiencing it, but you think they're crazy? Those of us affected are not misremembering or confabulating. The Mandela effect is a supernatural event that is happening around the globe. It's the biggest event in our lifetime, perhaps in the last 2,000 years, and no media outlet will touch it. There is a complete blackout reporting on this quantum phenomenon. Find out why on my website. I share several theories on what caused the Mandela effect with supportive evidence, including examples of residue. On my website, click on the drop-down menu on the toolbar at the top of the page to access these subjects. Please visit my website at SamsTwitch.com. My Twitter profile is at SamsTwitch_Sam. My YouTube channel is at youtube.com/SamsTwitch. I post videos that I cannot post on YouTube on my BitChute channel at bitchute.com/SamsTwitch.